Hello, hello, everybody. It is episode 2 of The Lobby. Very, very excited. Obviously, got my co host, Camille, here, and our very special
Hello.
guest, Nurse
Hello.
Huckleberry. Hi. So happy to have you on. Just to get things started off, can you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself? And, we're so excited to have you. We're all a part of the Twitch Women's Guild, and I really wanted to start this so everyone could kind of showcase, their content creator journey and like what they stream and everything like that. So yeah, just a little intro.
Yeah, so I have a comedy cooking show that I do with my husband 3 nights a week. It is not your average Twitch stream. We have a focus on, well, not just having fun because we do a lot of shenanigans, but also pretty high production value. It's one of the only fully scripted streams on Twitch. So
Ooh.
it's a lot of fun. It's themed as a sitcom. That's kind of like it's a bit meta of a sitcom happening while it's being recorded and chat gets to participate. But it's a very techie setup, and we do a lot of live editing with my my husband does the sound effects and music and switching between 12 cameras.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So
Love that you all are like a little duo, by the way. My boyfriend's helping with production. He's like my editor and photographer. So, people are always like, "Oh my God, how do y'all work together?" And I'm like, "I don't know, we just lucked out. Like we have good synergy." So it sounds like that's the same. So
I just love the fact because I'm a theater kid. Jackie is also into, acting. And I'm curious in terms of your journey to create this fully scripted show. Do you have a theater background or like acting background? Is that something that interests you?
not in the slightest.
Really?
No, I didn't end up doing any of it. I did improv. Well, so in high school, my theater program was completely cut my freshman year. So there was zero theater available to me. For about 6 months, I had a student teacher who hosted an improv comedy club, and I was a part of that. But outside of that, no. And to set the record straight, it's not. It's fully scripted.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
it's improv. And it's improv, that's still, but it's just so interesting because I find like a lot of people that on Twitch that do like very specific like show content usually come from a theater background, and I feel like Nurse, it was probably the fact that your theater program was canceled that it like was itching to you to do something
Oh yeah,
that
no,
is
I definitely
scripted like
missed
this.
out
Yeah.
for sure. I definitely missed out on theater content, and I like I don't know. I do wish that there was more available to me because like I would have absolutely taken advantage of it, I think. Um, but we all have our own roundabout ways of getting to where we are in life, and if I had just jumped straight into it, I would have missed out on a bunch of good stuff. So.
So my question is, how did this all start then? So did you stream or did your husband stream and then someone had the idea, or like how did that even happen?
A bit of both.
Okay.
So, my husband had streamed first before. He'd had actually like voiceover auditions and stuff for voice
Mm-hmm.
acting work, but he never really liked being on camera. And then when we were very first dating, we met. He had come into my work, and he was there to like say hello to my sister. And turns out he was saying hi and bye because they had been friends for a while, but he was moving. Anyways, we met, absolutely hit it off. We got to spend 2 glorious weeks together, and then he moved 700 miles away, and we were long distance for an entire year.
Oh my
And
Oh.
god.
so, um, while we were with us being long distance, I was like, how am I gonna, like, not that I needed to, but I was like, I'm gonna impress this boy because he's used to stream on Twitch, and I'm gonna stream on Twitch. So I started streaming, and I had never watched Twitch before. I had
Mm-hmm.
never, like, I wasn't a gamer. Like, just I had a DS, and that was it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do this like Twitch thing, and I really liked it, and I really enjoyed it. And so I had streamed for like a year, and then I moved down to LA. to be with my husband. And then of course with moving, like life got turned upside down, and so I stopped streaming for like a year and a half, and then the pandemic hit, and I'd consistently talked about going back into streaming and to kind of get back into it. It had always been a hobby, and then the pandemic hit, and we were both bartenders, and we both lost our jobs, and
Wow.
so we were like, oh, well, we've chatted about doing a cooking show because I used to do these cooking streams and I really enjoyed them. But I would be like, how do I click things with chicken hands? And and I was like, I really want to teach people how to cook. And he was like, I don't want to be on camera. Can I just push the buttons? And I was like, this is perfect. And so he ended up pushing the buttons. I ended up cooking the food. And just, I would say it took probably like a year and a half ish for us to like really get into like a serious flow of things and get more serious with it. Um, but we were only streaming like 2 days a week for a really long time because of work schedules and whatnot, and then switched to 3 days a week so that we could get partner. And yeah, and I would say so we started with like 3 cameras, and it was like, I'm gonna teach people how to cook food. And then eventually, by the time Gearhead husband, whose name is Duder, he's in the chat. By the time Duder had started accumulating equipment, we were around 5 cameras, and we were getting pretty good at the live editing, and we started getting
Wow.
questions about like, is this pre-recorded? And we were like, no,
Yeah.
it's live.
Yeah.
It's just fully scripted. So,
That's so cool.
and
So-
as we push deeper into that, and as we've gained more equipment, it's just gotten bigger and bigger with the production.
First of all, props to Duder. 5 cameras and lighting and managing all that. Like that's really impressive and awesome. And putting it all together. I kind of wanted to know though, like when you say scripted, so are you writing this collectively, and are there characters that are always there, or do you guys bouncing back and forth from like different stories? Or I'm sorry, I need to know A to Z what happened here.
So I have to. So normally I don't break the fourth wall like this, but it
Okay.
is actually all improv. It is not scripted.
Okay.
So we joke that it's scripted,
Ah,
right?
I'm so sorry.
But as you can see from Alka, he's pointing at his script in the chat.
Yeah.
Because the chat's scripted too, don't you know?
Ah.
So if somebody shows up late, it's because they're supposed to come in late because we wrote it that way.
Uh-huh.
But seriously, the chat is a huge, huge aspect of script writing.
Interesting.
And it has really been, it's sometimes we kind of, I mean, we do plan things.
Well, yeah, I saw you.
They
in a
don't go
construct-
as planned.
Yeah.
But you do have like characters, right? Because
We do have
I
characters.
saw you as a construction worker,
Uh-huh.
cooking. How do you come up with the characters? Like, is your community a lot involved in what the next stream will have next?
You know, they're not. They are a little bit. So the tier 3s, so our tier 3s can give suggestions for stuff to cook, and they give us suggestions for things to do. But for the most part, we like to keep things a surprise. And we just, I don't know. When it comes to some of the characters, we do like think about a bit more, and then others are just like us if we were in that scenario. So like the construction workers, now that was on National Pickle Day. And I was building a pickle palace, as one does.
As one does. I was
Yes,
just about to say,
obviously.
as one does. Yeah.
And so there was a lot of, we took a lot of breaks. We were trying to really embody our inner construction worker. There was a lot of grunting. There was a lot of brewskis.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, dodging OSHA.
That's great.
But yeah, and sometimes we write a little bit more about a character, and so that way we can give chat stuff to play with because it's very interactive. So, for example, we recently we did a superhero night where we made an intro video for these superheroes, and we were superhero costumes and everything, and we wrote these lines for like the story was that we were in the basement of our parents' house. And you could hear the parents making disparaging comments from upstairs about like, when will they stop playing superheroes? and those were controlled by chat. So the way that they could like, you know, do a certain amount of bits, and it would randomly select. We made like 30 different voice clips, and it would randomly pick one of them saying different things. And we've done that for a couple different nights, and chat loves it so much. So it is, some of it we do plan out a little bit, in that maybe, or I should say, write our characters a little bit in that we have to figure out more of supplementing characters to make the story happen.
So I went to UCB. I did like 201. And so I'm like not super deep, but like I have a good sense of the structure a little bit. So do you guys come into the stream and then you're like, give me a word and kind of like go from there, which I know is like kind of, so, or you guys have a, okay, yeah, tell me, break it down for me.
So it is not improv in the sense of like, we don't play the improv games that they play at improv. It is more of, if you've ever seen the improv where it's writing a play as it's happening, like it's more like that.
Okay.
Where it's not necessarily like, some of it's based off of chat interaction where like we might pull an idea from chat, but we don't necessarily explicitly say, give me an idea. Like, you know, people know to, oh my God, okay, excuse me, Windows update, not now. It's like, oh, pick a time. I'm like, Jesus.
Anytime but now, yeah. Too funny.
No, you don't. But yeah, so we'll pull inspiration from chat. But for the most part, I would say it is just us being ourselves, and we'll go off into little bits. And there's a lot of like redeems that the chat can do, but it's, when we do theme nights, like they're distinct theme nights in that we're just like, I don't know, being a caricature, I guess, in that we're doing things in a kind of a caricature kind of way of like, what do you imagine being on a construction site is like when you've never actually worked in construction, right? And so it's like a very loose interpretation of construction, but very fun.
So, sorry, Camille, do you have any follow-up questions? Because I love improv. I think it's so fun. But I'm like my brain is just thinking of all these different questions. So Camille, I don't want to cut you off if you think of anything.
No. Your questions are good. I'm such a, like I said, I studied theater in school. I'm such an improv nerd. I love it so much. And I think like, you know, that content we don't usually see on Twitch to the degree that you're bringing it. And I've seen how it gets a little crazy on your streams as well.
It does.
But I want to double back to the cooking portion because you wanted to do a cooking stream and you brought this comedy aspect. What is it about cooking and comedy that meshes so well for you?
Well, there's a lot of really funny food. And honestly, so the comedy came second. So I had intended on like, I'm gonna teach people how to cook, but then I'm like also me, and Twitch has really brought out my comedic side, and I've always been a bit of a ham, and I've always, you know, been able to make people laugh, but being now 4 years deep and thoroughly practiced in it, with I would say about 3 of those years being, actually I guess it's 4.5 years, and but with a good portion of that being like, no, but what if we were funny with like intentional funny, and not just like we just happen to be bantering? Like, what if we pushed more into that? And so there was a while where it was really food focused, and I was making, especially during the pandemic, we all were picking up weird hobbies, right? And so during the pandemic, there was a good portion where I was like, I'm gonna learn how to cook Japanese food. And so I started going through this Washuko cookbook and learning how to make all of this like classic Japanese food, except I have celiac disease, so it was all gluten-free. So I was figuring out how to make classic Japanese gluten-free. And I learned a lot of really great stuff. And I would make these really delicious meals and started kind of theming the meals, because I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of things to do, to keep it fresh. And so I started theming the meals based around days. And as we started doing that, it started to push more into the comedy aspect. And then I started doing sculptural type things where I would like build like the Pickle Palace, or for 4th of July, I carved George Washington's head out of a
Of
cauliflower and put
course.
hot dogs on him for hair.
Yes, why wouldn't
You know,
you?
as one does.
Yeah. That's iconic. This is a silly question, but I was recently watching the Martha Stewart documentary, so I just wanted to know, is there any on-camera chef that you like or like, ugh, I love their style?
I don't really watch Food Network very
Okay.
much. So
Yeah.
back in the day, actually, no,
Okay.
that is a lie. Alton Brown. I love Alton
Okay.
Brown. I love him to bits, okay? Because Good Eats was my bread and butter as a kid. Because I did grow up watching some Food Network shows. And Alton Brown's Good Eats, I love his blend of science communication and cooking. It's just, oh, he's so good. He's so good. And I've always loved Alton Brown. And even now, like the content he makes is fantastic. And he's one of those where I'm like, yeah, he's never sold out. He's always been him. Even like Iron Chef, everything. I love Alton Brown.
I
He
love that,
obviously inspired your glasses, as he inspired everyone's glasses in the world, right? Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
I mean, I could see it. Yeah. That's so funny.
have
well,
been
you have
wearing
totally
them.
different glasses than him, and but it's
Yeah.
I have been wearing glasses since the 6th grade, and boy, did I love Alton Brown then. So clearly.
So
Hey, I have my glasses right here in honor of Alton Brown.
Right.
Yeah. So has cooking just been a part of your life for a long time? Like, I'll be completely honest.
yeah.
Like, I microwave everything. My boyfriend, fortunately, is a good chef, but it's like, it's just a skill that doesn't come to me naturally. So, yeah, when did the affinity start?
I don't know. Both of my parents were cooks. My mom was a line cook. My dad was a chef.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was thoroughly encouraged for us to be in the kitchen from a young age. I remember, I was talking about this the other day, when I was 7, my mom had I already knew how to like make like scrambled eggs and stuff. My mom was like, I wanted to make like over easy eggs, and flipping your eggs when you're 7 is pretty difficult. And so my mom got really
now for me at
tired.
37, so.
Right. And my mom got real tired of me starting eggs and then sprinting into her room and being like, Mom, come flip my eggs, please. Like, please, I need to flip right now.
Yeah.
And then she'd have to come out. And so she was like, all right, Shelby, here you go. And she gave me, and this is, by the way, if you want to learn how to flip eggs, she gave me a piece of bread in the egg pan and made me flip the bread over until I could consistently flip the piece of bread. And then you teach the motion.
Oh, that's
right?
smart.
And just ever since I was a kid, I was always consistently in the kitchen, helping prepare family meals, learning different stuff. I took some cooking lessons through like the Gifted and Talented program.
Cool.
But yeah, and then as was predestined, ended up going into restaurants, of course, at 17. And worked in restaurants for 11 years, doing some front of house, some back of house. And my parents did catering. And so I would help with like the catering stuff. So like 8 years old, I'm like making charcuterie for these catering events.
Cool. That is so cool. Like your family being a part of like this journey that you're on now. Does your parents ever look at your streams?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Like, say like,
Aw.
or try out the foods that you may cook on
No.
your streams?
It went from oh yeah to no.
No. Oh, they definitely enjoy watching. They're very supportive. They think it's really fun. Even though we make kind of adult jokes, they think it's hilarious. My dad will like send me things. He's like, you should do this on your show. And I'm like, Dad, like, anyways, which is very sweet. He sends me stuff all the time. And they love all of our content. They'll totally check it out. But so that's really, I don't know, it's good. They're very supportive. And so are Duder's parents, but they're always asleep. But they like it, if they can catch it. They're like, oh, it's so fun.
What was it like explaining to your parents, like, hey, we're gonna do this cooking comedy stream? Like, were they Okay, cool. Or did they have a lot of questions?
Well, they had known about my streaming before. I never hid
Okay.
it from them. I never particularly cared to hide it or
Yeah.
anything. And so, and like we were just doing it for fun. And then, like, but I'd call home and talk about it. And they'd ask, like, "Oh, what's going on the show? Like, how's it going? Like, how's things going?" And when I moved to being full time with streaming, there was a bit of there wasn't any. They were like, "All right, as long as you're happy and you can make ends meet, like whatever, you have fun. Like I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're getting to really express yourself." Like I've got great parents, and so does Duder.
Aw.
So they were very like, "This is great." Then my mom, she's always like, when you were a kid, I really felt like we were raising Robin Williams. Like I feel like I knew what his parents feel like. And she's like, she loves it. She thinks it's fantastic. So um, they're just happy to see us happy.
Aw, I love that.
In all the streams that you've done and the dishes that you've made, the characters that have come to life, what is probably your favorite, and then what would you say your community's favorite is?
Characters that have come to life. I would say one of my favorite characters that I've played. I really love when we do the Bortco Bros. Um, so just to explain, we have my cat Bert, who we call Bort, is a bit of a derp. And at one point, we needed an Acme company. We needed a company that made lots of products for us. So ages ago, like 3 years ago, we decided when Twitch implemented you have to run 3 minutes of ads per hour to keep pre-rolls off. We were like, well, this is stupid. We don't want to run ads like that because people are going to miss out and that sucks.
Mhm.
And so we were like, what if, because we've already established that this was like a sitcom. And so we were like, what if it's on a network and there's other shows on this network and commercials. And so
No
during the
way.
commercials, now we've accumulated quite a few ads that we make for either our products or other shows that are on the show, on the network. And
Mhm.
so during the ads, we run our ads. And people really get to experience our ads through like experience what is Bortco, and they love Bortco, as you can see in the chat.
Mhm.
Bortco, it's in the script. Um, so the Bortco Bros was bootleg Mario and Luigi, except it was Marco and Polo. But I love playing male characters. I think it's so fun. I love to wear a mustache. Like, I like to make people feel things they haven't felt before. Okay. And so wearing a mustache and getting to play a man is always so fun for me. So I really love playing the Bortco Bros. Although I am wearing currently this is one of my painting
Is that a
patty shirts,
cow?
and there is a character, Betty Guggen, who is like, she like did her own version of Bob Ross, except she wasn't very good at painting, and was very bitter at an inflatable cow. So, um, and I loved Betty Guggen too. But I would say that chat's favorite character is Otto, the celebrity shark chef. There's no chance that they would pick anybody outside of Otto as their favorite character. Now, Otto is chef, is puppeted by me.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
not a
You used to use
ventriloquist.
puppets too.
I
Oh,
do,
wow.
and
Okay,
That is
cool.
really cool.
there he is in the chat. Everybody loves Otto. Otto is the best. Chat loves Otto. So Otto comes out and he gives us advice on cooking and shark culture. And he has like a situationship with the chat controlled producer of the show, Sylvia. Like there's a lot of lore. It is very fun. And he's real, not a puppet. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I said obviously real.
Your
We
chat?
misspoke.
Yeah.
Obviously
I know.
real.
I
Sorry,
know.
sorry, chat. Sorry, chat.
Yeah, apologies. Chat gets people really believe in Otto. Okay, I believe in Otto. Otto surprises me. Um,
Otto's like the one shark that would actually be caught alive in the kitchen.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
that's
And
funny.
he's a bit of a diva.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
like Gordon
yeah.
Ramsay style?
No, more like, where's my latte?
Uh,
Is he good at cooking though?
Oh yeah.
So it's like
Great.
he's a snotty shark for no reason.
Well, okay, he's got a big personality.
Okay.
I wouldn't call him snotty.
Gosh,
like-
this is so funny to me. So do you just like, everyone always says I get the best ideas in the shower, which is kind of weird. Sorry, that sounded kind of weird. But I do actually kind of get the best ideas in the shower. But like, is there like a time when you're conceptualizing all of these different characters, or does it just come to you randomly?
So for the most part, the characters are very much built in the moment.
Okay, wow.
The general ideas are typically formed between the hours of 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., particularly if I have imbibed in a bit of candy. And then it's like, okay, but wait, what if we did this? And then we're like, and then sometimes we'll record these like absurdly long voice messages of us just like talking, be like, okay, so here's the idea. What if we sat down, and actually it was funny because we came up with a podcast idea that I can't, don't steal it. But we have an idea. I'm like, I keep being a guest on podcasts. Like, when are we going to do our own?
You all should definitely do a podcast.
I feel like you should.
Definitely.
And they should all be of made up characters. Like, it's a podcast, like interviewing these characters in the world.
Oh my gosh, that would be a really good idea. Yeah.
I mean, we could do a show within, so we sometimes will do like a show within the show kind of thing. And I could see us do it like we already do it like 10 hours a week. And I gotta say, it's kind of a lot of content to be like, every single stream is different, and it is wildly difficult to be that creative on a regular schedule.
Yeah.
Like, I always tell people that like 90% of my job is thinking about stuff now, just thinking. And I always feel like I'm not doing enough, because coming from like years of working in restaurants, I'm like, I haven't done anything. And my brain's less to be like, no,
your brain's like pooped out
right now.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. We're like always on the go and like running, like that's me. I get that totally. I really kind of want to see Otto have a podcast. I feel like Otto would be someone who'd be like, I can have a podcast. Like, I can do this.
Yeah.
So maybe that should be an idea down the road. I'm just saying.
I need to find. Well, so we did do Lemon Time with Otto once.
Wait, what's Lemon Time?
Yeah, what is that?
Well, it was National Lemon Day.
Oh no.
And so I don't know why pizza was the thing that we decided to cook, but I was like, it's gonna be the most lemony pizza you've ever had in your life.
Ew.
So no, it was really lemony, but it wasn't that bad. So I did like lemon in the crust, lemon in the sauce, lemon like on top.
I can taste the lemon.
It was very lemony. Like, honestly, if I had made it like on the sweet side, it probably would have been better.
Oh yeah.
But if I had gone with like one of those like cookie pizza, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I don't know, and this was like, and a lot of times like our best ideas are like we do not have enough time to prep at all. So about 2 hours before stream started, we were like, what if we did something else? Like, what if Otto holds his own talk show for once? And because, well, Duder had said, what if we did like Lemon Time? And I was like, okay, well, what's Lemon Time? And he's like, I don't know, it's just the name of a show, like called Lemon Time. What if there was a show called Lemon Time? And I was like, okay. And then eventually we decided it was Lemon Time with Otto. And it literally was just Otto the shark interviewing a lemon. That was Lemon Time. And the lemon had Duder's face superimposed onto it.
Oh my goodness.
Like, think the sun in Teletubbies, but it's like yellow.
No.
That's frightening, though.
That is scary.
That's frightening.
Right, blended in yellow on a lemon. And they had a whole little interview conversation, and chat loved it. And it was great. So we need to bring back lemon time with
Wait,
Otto,
is
but I
that
could
the
see that
lemon I'm
being.
seeing chat? Oh no, that's
No,
not
that's
it. No,
OSHA
no.
boy.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
worry.
All the characters.
We
I'm
don't
like,
speak of
Yeah.
him. We
I
don't speak of him.
of OSHA boy.
I know. I feel like you were like, that's OSHA boy.
Yeah, he's a bit of a downer.
Oh no, he
Yeah,
looks
he like wants to
adorable
stop the
though.
fun. Yeah,
Looks are
you know.
deceiving apparently though. I did kind of want to ask you, so you are obviously, working full time. This is just incredible. I think this story is just so awesome. Do you just like ever look in the mirror and you're like, is this happening? This is my life? Or are you like, no, I could totally see myself doing all of these wild antics.
Uh, both.
Yeah, makes sense.
Both.
Yeah.
Very much. I mean, in the last couple of years, like obviously I've very much, because like before I was like full-time streaming, and even like what I went to school for, I did a marine biology degree, and I was working as a scientific diver doing research on scuba.
How cool.
And it was really great, and it was like my childhood dream, one of them. So I had like 3 childhood dreams. One was to be Robin Williams.
Love that.
One was to be a pastry chef, and one was to be a scientific scuba diver. Okay. I have celiac disease, so we'll go with the pastry chef idea. That one kind of died.
Yeah.
We tried. But that one I kind of like, and I did get into pastry for a little bit. I did work at a cafe at one point, and I made stuff for their pastry case. And it was like, if it wasn't at that cafe, I probably would have gotten into it more and then been very sad, more sad when I got diagnosed at 21. And like I had ended up pursuing more of the sciences. And so I was going down that route. And when I moved to LA, I had been in Northern California. I had been working on a diving crew, and I really enjoyed it. It was like long hours and hard work and not very much pay, but it was with people who were really, really fun and engaged and wanted to be there and did it for the love of diving, and they were just fantastic. And then I moved to LA and I got a job down here. And they were not like that at all. They were like, let's get this over with and get in the water, out of the water, be done. And I wasn't making any money. And it was just like not working out. And I was really sad because I was like, but this was supposed to be my dream.
Yeah.
And sometimes like a book would be boring if every chapter was the same. So, that's why we have chapters in our lives. And I can look back on that and be like, yeah, that was really cool. And I did that whole thing, and now I can shape my life better. But now I get to be in my comedy era, and I'm loving it so much.
I feel like you also are merging all 3 of those dreams, because your parents already think they raised you as Robin Williams, and you're having that comedy. Otto exists, so the shark, marine biology, that's kind of there, right? And then you're cooking on the stream. So I feel like you are making your dreams come true and fulfilling it all.
Oh man, like 10-year-old me would think I'm like the coolest, okay? Like, and that's all I really want to be, is like cool for my younger self. Like, I am so cool to my 10-year-old self.
You're really awesome. I was also going to say, I know so many of my friends who are like, I'm going to be a marine biologist when I grow up. And they're like a lawyer or in sales or whatever. Now, the fact that you actually did that, I think is pretty wild. Because I literally talk to people all the time. And then I'm like, well, what did you want to be when you grow up? And they're like, well, I want to be a marine biologist. It must have been something about when we were growing up. I don't know what it was.
Flipper.
Yeah. Animal Planet.
Yeah, Free Willy too.
There's no question. I don't know. I feel like people were very obsessed with dolphins, which I never was. I was never into like the dolphin thing.
Yeah.
And I really just, part of what about the marine sciences really drew me in was learning about deep sea fish from a young age and going tide pooling at a young age. And I just thought it was so cool. I was like, oh my God, there's these light up fish living at the bottom of the ocean. Like, I want to go in a submarine someday and look at that, which I never did. Um, but that's okay. I'm more okay with that now as an
Yeah,
adult.
I mean,
I'm,
yeah, submarines,
calculated
people,
risk taker.
yeah, yeah.
We have a submersible remote operated vehicles for that now. So
There we go,
yeah.
learning something new. But there
Um,
was a wave of dolphin accessories
there
and
was a
dolphin
Dude,
wave
Lisa
things.
of
Frank for
dolphin.
me. It was definitely, I think
Yeah.
I just love Lisa Frank. And I just remember it was like all these bright colors of dolphins and
Mhm.
killer whales and orcas. Sorry, we should call them orcas now. But yeah, you know what I mean? It was just like, and the sea life and everything like that. But I was definitely Lisa Frank obsessed. And I just felt like all of my friends said they wanted to be a marine biologist. But I don't think any of them actually validly did that. So when you said that, you're like, yeah, I did that. The other thing I wanted to say too is like, I think that for myself, I wanted to be a TV news reporter, right? And then I did that and I hated it. Like it was the worst, Like it was super taxing on my mental health. It was I was waking up at god awful hours to make it because I was on all the morning shows always. And so it was just like interesting because it's like you did accomplish your dream, but then it just like your dreams change and you evolve as a person. And it's like, what you said about like your 10-year-old self would just be so impressed and like that's so cool. But I do think it's like interesting that like I think sometimes people get a little bit too caught up in like dreams and goals and really like life is just this weird flowing process and we just kind of end up where we're supposed to. So I don't know. Sorry,
Yeah,
there's
I
my
think
philosophy moment.
no, but I also think that people consider like I don't know why we think that making 18-year-olds choose what they're gonna do for the rest of their life is like a good idea because like they don't know. They don't know. And so here's the thing, like if you try something for 4 or 5 years and you really give it a go, and even if you find success in it, if you decide at some point, I don't really want to do this anymore, it doesn't mean that you failed at it. If you run a cafe for 10 years and you're like, I'm kind of done with running a cafe, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means that you want to try something else in life. I mean, we've all got hopefully at least like 7 decades to be working with. And like, who wants to do the same thing for forever? That's so boring. And like, I don't know. I'm big on believing that like, you never as long as you're still learning, you won't fail because like the real failure is stopping learning and stopping growth and change as an individual. And so like yeah, like do I see myself streaming for forever? No, of course not, because it doesn't make any sense because this is going to get, at some point the world's going to implode, Twitch will die, and I'll be what? Cooking by myself for my cats? Yes, yes I will. Like
I mean, cats need food too.
yeah.
There's no argument there. I do want to ask
Oh
you
my gosh,
though.
do you make special gourmet food for your cats?
Oh, good
That's a
question.
great. Sorry, Camille, you said that.
No,
My
no, wait.
ADHD brain was like,
That's a good
whoa.
question. What are your cats eating?
They are
all
on
lit
a
up for that.
diet.
Wait,
They
what?
are on a diet because they are a
Oh.
little chunky.
Aw.
Bert is currently in a sphere. Let me see if I can get him up here.
Oh.
Bert, I see you opening your eye. Come here.
Oh, I'm.
No, he is conked out. He's not.
Yeah,
not
he's
doing
like,
it. He
I'm
is a
good.
trained cat, but he's
Did
like,
he
you
just
don't
eat or something? Probably. He's just like, I just ate.
no. He's just. I wish I could show you without
Okay,
absolutely
9Jack99
the
said Bert is a big boy. So
Bert is a big boy.
yeah, Bert and Kiki love foods. Oh my God, your chat's so
Well,
funny.
Bert is a big boy,
Yeah.
but he's also like he's lost a pound, which is good, but he's also just a big cat.
Mm-hmm.
He's part Maine Coon, and so
Oh
he's
yeah, they
like
get
currently
huge.
yeah.
he's currently at 18 pounds. I would like to see him at 17. But he is a big cat.
Big cat. Okay, so what we like to do on the lobby, we do like to talk about like, what you're watching, and what you're, maybe taking in terms of movies. So, or in terms of games. So let's start with the game side. What games have you been playing recently that like you're really enjoying?
So I've been playing Supermarket Sim, and I really liked it a lot up until I hit about level 50. And then it gets real grindy and not very fun anymore. because they just make everything like your profits don't really increase that much, but the cost of everything does a lot.
Oh.
So that was a bummer. But my Bortmart, my store, it's a fantastic store. I haven't played many sim games, and I thoroughly have been enjoying Supermarket Sim. I'm kind of like at a bit of a stopgap where I'm like, I just have to grind for forever, and I might just start my whole thing over and
Mm.
try just a different method, a different
Oh.
approach. Because I went with a very conservative approach where I was like, if I was actually running a grocery store, how would I run it
Like it's
to
too
have
realistic, you
well,
know?
no, I mean, that's how I ran it though. As I was like running,
Okay.
I'm like I wanted to make sure that I was ordering enough, but not too much, and make sure that I was very focused on making sure that it was a nice orderly store that had like the appropriate amount of shelf space for each item, and because there's a lot of different ways you could run your store, but I wanted to run my store like a grocery store that I personally would enjoy shopping at. So it was well organized because I spend a lot. Okay, I do a lot of cooking. I go to the grocery store a lot. So, I
You know
want my
exactly
grocery
what you
store.
want. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, and so I have my stock room very organized, the whole shebang. So I might try it again where I just go more chaos method and see how that works. Um, but
See, that's yeah, Sims, that's why I find Sims are so hard because I always tend to like farming Sims. I haven't played Supermarket Sim.
Hmm.
I've been wanting to. So now I think you're the
Yeah, that
sign that I
sounds
should get
awesome.
into it.
it's
Yeah.
really
But
fun.
yeah, but it's
Although,
always like I want to do things as I would in real life and I feel like I should go more chaotic. So I want to see you go more chaotic.
yeah, no, and I think I want to try more sim games in the future. And it's really funny because you said, have you been cooking for a long time? And for me, I grew up cooking. Cooking is very easy for me. So a lot of people will be like, I don't know how you can cook and do all these things.
Hmm.
I don't know how everybody is out here playing like Elden Ring and like having a full on conversation with chat because no, no,
So
that is
true.
scary. Okay, no,
Yeah.
no, um, if for me, splitting focus with cooking is easy. Splitting focus with gaming, I am so bad at. And
Mm.
chat is always like, I don't know. I'm always like, this is nowhere near as entertaining as it should be because I'm like, what button? What is X? Which one's X? Like I'm on the PlayStation now and I don't know where any of the buttons are because I only know the buttons on Switch. Like help.
But
Um,
that's how we are in the kitchen. We're like, what
yeah,
Yeah, that is
measurement does
so
this
true,
mean?
Camille.
So like you carry us on that side, right? That's
Yeah.
why we're gonna
right,
tune into
right.
your streams
Also,
to learn
everyone's
more.
brains work differently, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like
I
you
mean,
find what works for you. Yeah.
I've gotten better, but it was really funny when you're like, "Oh, what games are you playing?" And I was like, "Oh, wow, yes, I
Hey, all games
Well,
welcome. We
I
yesterday we were
play
talking about a
games."
card game, right, Camille? Like it's
yeah,
just like
exactly. We were talking
yeah.
about Balatro being nominated for Game of the Year, but honestly, like even earlier, you were talking about you had your 3DS or DS
Hmm.
that you used to
Aw.
play. I would call you a gamer, so don't say like you were like you're not a
Yeah.
gamer. You're a gamer. You're a gamer.
I don't
I
know.
agree with
See,
that.
I feel like there's a different word for like there's gamer and then there's a Twitch gamer, and those are two
Oh no, you
different
mean
categories.
gamer and gamer? Like they
Yeah,
like to
yeah,
like go a little heavy on it. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not gonna make that joke, but I would.
Oh my gosh. Also,
You can infer that for yourselves, but I'm not gonna make that joke. Um,
I really quickly, Ash said hi. It was in the chat briefly. I don't know if they're still there or not, but Ash, you were awesome. Thank you so much for all of your support. Ash is like one of the heads of the Twitch Women's Guild and has just been like so awesome. And I'm just so impressed with their leadership. I don't know if they're in here anymore or not, but really helped us get everything together. And this is kind of saved for one of the last questions, but I did want to talk to you a little bit about being a part of the Twitch Women's Guild
mhm.
and the importance of unity and uplifting others. Like, why is that important to you?
um, well, I, y- you know, let me gather my words here. Um, as someone who is doing something very unique on the internet, I am never afraid of somebody taking what I have, because no matter um if I told you, like, I have the specs for my PC laid out, if I told you exactly how to run a show like I run a show, you would never run a show the same way because you're not me. Right? And that's how every individual stream is. And so the thing is when we're focused on community instead of competition, everyone grows, everyone benefits. And I think that there is so much to be said about connecting communities that don't normally connect. And it's one of the things that we have taken great pride in and that we enjoy very much, because being something unique on Twitch, we don't fall into any real category. We stream in just chatting, but is it really a just chatting stream? Kinda. Is it a cooking stream? Kinda. Is it a
Yeah.
special event? Yeah, it could be. And we found a home in just chatting, and that's where we like to hang out. But we aren't like beholden to any real category. And so what's been really cool is it has given us the opportunity to um, connect with so many different people. Like, we aren't just dipping into the horror community, or we aren't just raiding out to music or to cozy gamers. We get to do all of it, and it's been kind of standard. And everybody can raid into us because, oh, it's the Nurse Huckleberry show. It's just different. You guys might have never seen something like this before, and um, we have really seen the benefit in connecting people across multiple communities. And so the idea of unity and being able to work together and to blend communities that maybe would never touch, if you've got somebody who only plays Animal Crossing
Yeah.
and they do cozy games and they've never thought about dipping their toe into a horror stream, but the horror community are all wonderful, lovely people, even if they're playing really scary games. you know like, we have so many great friends that are horror game streamers, and even though I don't really like watching their gameplay, I love them as individuals. And for me, the big part is rating based on vibe and who I think my chat would get along with, and that has nothing to do with what game they're playing.
Yeah. That
Aw, that was a
I
really nice answer. Sorry, Camille.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's great, and that's one of the cool things about having the guild is it brings, like you said, all these different genres of content together to overlap, and also it's a huge learning space. Like for Jackie and myself, we were able to get the lobby up and running, with the help of the guild, but also being able to meet other this is my first time interacting with Uners, and it's been such a great interaction, and having those opportunities I think is so important to that. When you see creators up and coming, what would you say is, whether it is well, okay, I'll ask you two questions. One's less serious than the other, so I'll start with that one. If anyone's up and coming in terms of their cooking skills, what would you say is the first dish they should try to cook?
Oh,
I'm listening.
Jackie, I
I was
saw
like,
her
I'm
grab a
taking
pen.
notes.
coming.
She's taking notes.
Well, what I'll say is, if you try something that you really love and that you're willing to eat, even if it's a little messed up.
I like that
Um,
because I do French
be-
toast, but I mess it up a lot. It's
well, and
hard.
here's the thing.
It's hard for me. It's probably so
Um,
simple for you, but yeah.
Here's the thing. We as adults do not practice skills enough, and cooking is a practiced and learned skill. There are cooking schools for a reason. It is not an expectation that everybody pops out of the womb and they're like, hell yeah, who wants a 5-course meal right now? Like, no, it is a learned skill that takes time. And there are some, like, what I would say is learn the basics. I was talking about this the other day, but learn the basics. Learn how to saute a bunch of vegetables, right? Learn how to prep a bunch of vegetables, and you might end up eating a bunch of vegetables for a while, but learn how to cook all your proteins 2 or 3 different ways. Learn how to roast, learn how to saute, learn how to pan fry, like that kind of thing. You just pick. You can, I mean, even if you just picked eggs and you're like, I'm gonna learn how to cook eggs 20 different ways. You can go through and learn how to cook eggs 20 different ways, and just building and gaining those skills is going to help you. in building confidence in the kitchen, you know? Because when you're able to poach an egg perfect, you're like, this is the best day ever. I am so cool. Like,
I no,
like,
but I'm telling you because so breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. I could have breakfast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love breakfast,
mhm.
and I love like eggs Benny. It is like I could always go for an eggs Benny. Poached eggs was the hardest thing. And like everyone has like different tips for poached egg, whether it's like putting like a little bit of vinegar, whether it's like how you put the egg in and swirling it and all that stuff. I'm not like I enjoy cooking. I can cook. I'm very happy. Like my parents were able to like teach me things and like I found videos here and there. Poached eggs was so hard to do, and the amount of time as an adult I dedicated to learning how to poach an egg very well just so I could have the perfect poached egg whenever I want. I completely understand that sentiment. You feel like a champ.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I am the best. Duh.
Duh.
Duh. But yeah, so that's something I would say is just, like pick an ingredient and learn how to use that ingredient in multiple ways because really like I don't use recipes on the show because like recipes like just hold me back because I have to like look at it and be like, what does this say? I just kind of cook based off of feeling. I like to say measure with your heart because cooking is a very individual thing. So, if I'm the one eating it, I'm gonna make it how I want it. Uh, if I'm making it for somebody else, I might make it a little different. If they're like, I don't like spicy things, and I'll be like, okay, sure.
I've
Like,
never tried to make a poached egg in my entire life, by the way.
Oh, Jackie.
I just wanted to clarify that. Autumn Light said poached eggs is so hard. In 2020, I got onto steaming eggs for about 4 minutes, and it's so similar to poached. Yeah, I'll be
Wait,
honest.
steaming eggs?
Yeah,
What?
I steam eggs. I have one of those little egg cookers. But anyway, it was funny because I was like, I actually think I'm pretty
I
good at
gotta look
cooking
this up.
eggs.
Go ahead.
And
Yeah.
now you guys are making me feel like, no, I can't even cook eggs. I've never ever tried to do poached egg. I think I make a mean scrambled eggs though, if I do say so myself. And I think that's an art. There has to be like this for me, I like mine a little bit more raw. You know what I mean? Like I don't like it when it's like really like fluffy and rubbery. Like I
Yeah.
feel like there really is like scrambled eggs is tougher than people think. That's all I'm gonna say.
Jackie, you do you. We appreciate you. Okay, we appreciate you. We love you.
Thank you, Camille. You both are like, okay, Jackie, you're done. We're like pretty much out of time. So my last question would be if you have any advice for content creators, because like you're making this show on such an incredible scale. So if there's any advice for people who are trying to get into streaming or trying to understand content creation. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like it's constantly evolving and I never really know what the best advice is. But if you have any, that'd be great.
my best advice is to have fun and to be true to yourself. Because here's the thing when you are streaming and you are growing your community, just don't be anyone else, because like you are going to be so good at being you and you will find people who resonate with you. I think also we tend to forget that streaming is entertainment. And so like if somebody's struggling with getting any viewers, like take a hard look at your content. Are you being entertaining? Skip to the middle. Would you watch that? Like how long before you're looking away and you're scrolling on your phone? How are you actually staying engaged with your own content? Are you having fun when you're making that content? Because there's going to be a handful of people out there who like want to make the streamer suffer and they're loud about it. But most people in the chat want you to be having a great time so that they can also vicariously through you be having a great time. And I think the most important part is to not be so focused on appearances. And I was really stuck for a long time in feeling like I needed to be presenting myself as a professional, or that I needed to be taken seriously, especially as a woman on the internet doing cooking. And there's all these dudes who are trying to tell me what to do, and I wasn't letting them. But I was like, I felt like I needed to be particularly perfect in order to be seen with respect. And now now I know that that's not really the case. I have well-earned respect while being an absolute idiot on the internet because I'm true to myself. And I'm having so much fun, and so is the chat. And so that's the biggest thing is to, if you're not having fun, no one else is either. And so to keep things entertaining, you got to keep things happy.
Oh, I love that.
I love
Camille,
that.
any follow up or?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, you meeting you and seeing everything that you do. Well, meeting you through internet ways,
Right.
and and like seeing your channel and the content that you have, you exude such confidence that I feel is sometimes hard, especially as a content creator in this space, trying to entertain on Twitch. And I think what I was hearing from you, you even had those doubts about how to present yourself. And I think that's important for any content creator or host or, entertainer in this space to remember is I think we all go through those moments of doubt, but surrounding yourself by people who are focused on creating that content, creating the format, as well as like who are just supportive of you, whether that is through a guild or whether it's through other creators in the space, I know has helped me with that confidence. And I feel like it could help any up and coming streamer, host, or creator in the space as well.
Aw, that was great. Well, that's a wrap, everybody. I think the last thing I would say is do you want to tell people where they can find you when you stream, all that jazz?
Yeah, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Pacific. We go live on the Nurse Huckleberry channel. I also have a second channel where I do gaming stuff.
It's still gaming. Yeah.
Mostly it's hanging out, and like sometimes I make costumes and I do all sorts of, I don't know, it's kind of what it's variety content over at Nerd Huckleberry. And then check out our YouTube. We do sketch comedy stuff on the YouTube channel, Borco TV, or if you search Nurse Huckleberry, it'll show up on YouTube. And yeah, that's and I'm just Nurse Huckleberry on everything. So if you search Nurse Huckleberry, it's just me.
Well, thank you so much. This was so fun. You're hilarious.
Yeah,
and-
I'm sorry we didn't talk about movies or Wicked.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
we honestly just kept asking
we
questions about
probably
cooking
could've,
and
yeah.
and I was just so intrigued. And also your backstory. Like I was like, what? The marine biology and the bartend, like it was just I kind of went off track. But that's what the lobby's all about. Like it's not, there's no hard fast rules and we're just hanging out, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're new here and tuning into the lobby for the first time, remember this is the place where you can get the latest on like TV shows, our latest anime obsessions and pop culture with Jackie, myself, and obviously a guest. And we're so happy, Nurse, that you're able to join us this time around. Be sure to check her out if you're just meeting her for the first time. Jackie, where can everyone find you?
Oh, me? I'm at Jackie Jing. I'm on, every single social media platform. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you can find me at thisiscamco. Thank you all so much, though. This is so awesome. Nurse, you've been an amazing, amazing guest.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me on. I know, like, when I was like, sorry, I'm not really a gamer, I was like, oh goodness, maybe I'm not a very great guest for this. But this has been such a wonderful time and such an enjoyable. I hope I feel so proud to get to hopefully launch the lobby into existence.
Yeah,
so,
no, thank you so much. Honestly, to wrap things up, I'm just going to do a little raid. I found someone who I've done some singing streams with in the past, so I'm just going to throw the raid over that
She's
way.
in the Women's Guild, right?
Yeah, Miley, yeah.
Miley.
Lovely, and has a great voice. So, rating now. Bye.